Hey everyone, it's Megan again. So I'm going to continue from the last video. I was having some allergy issues and I needed to go and take care of it. I'm hoping that the antihistamines kick in quickly, but they haven't yet. So anyways, like I was talking about relationships, in order to move on you have to make peace with your past. And I think I'm there. I think I have. It's just when I start thinking about old memories, that's when it brings it back, and it's not always pleasant ones. But that's just how life is. You have to learn from your past in order to not repeat it and not make some of the same choices or mistakes or whatever you want to call them. I'm sitting here and it's almost 4:30 in the morning and I can't sleep. And I'm hearing tweeting of the birds outside the side window from my apartment, and some nights they're really loud and other nights you don't hear them. My question is, why are they tweeting when the sun's not even up? I've heard them tweeting at 2 o'clock in the morning before. The only reason why I'm hearing them as close as I am is there's a nest in a tree right out the side, and then there's a nest in the side of the house, and I can hear them intensified from that exterior wall because of it. So I don't know. When I get done with the video, I'm going to watch a show that I see on A&E that comes on once a week. Well, at least this season it does. It's called Married at First Sight, and it's about these couples that sign up for this program, and they go through extensive testing and stuff, and these experts make matches, and each season of the show they feature 3 couples, and the first day they meet, they're meeting at the altar, and they marry each other, and then they have to get to know each other, and they go on a honeymoon, and then they have to, kind of mesh their lives together, get acclimated, and, figure out what they want and what they don't want. And I think the way that it works is you are legally wed, and the show is supposed to take place over the course of 6 weeks. And basically these couples are put in, I guess you'd call it turbo relationship, where you have to become vulnerable and you have to, shed all that insecurity and whatnot, and you have to become the person that you say you want to be. And then you have to learn how to coexist with somebody that was a stranger that you didn't know before you started this. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, these experts, who are also therapists and counselors and whatnot, they sit the couples down and they ask them, do you want to stay married or would you like to get a divorce? Now, the first season I saw one of the couples did get a divorce. The other 2 couples seem to at least put the work in and have what it takes to keep going. I don't know if they're still together. I assume that they are. This season it's up in the air, but along the way the experts are there to help them, to kind of get to know each other, to help them basically navigate, I guess you would say. And I think it's interesting. It's a really good social experiment. I like these gritty things that are off the wall. I watched this program, that came on, a couple years back, and it was called Dating in the Dark, and it was something where you had people on there and they would have their first date in this mansion, and it would be in a dark room. You wouldn't see the person, so you wouldn't have that sense to know, a judgment on the person. And then you could decide if you wanted to stay or if you wanted to go, and if you wanted to meet the person and give it a little bit more time, you would, I think when it was time to go, you would meet them on the balcony or something, and if both of you guys chose to do the same thing, then you were a match and you get to go on a date somewhere. And then I watched this other one called Dating Naked, or I think that's what it's called, and I'm thinking it was from VH1 or something. Anyways, this one, you had this guy and this girl, and they would get 3 dates. One date would be with each other, and then the other 2 would be with 2 random people, and they would shed their clothing and get to know each other in the barest sense that they could. And if at the end of this experiment or whatever they decided they wanted, to date the main guy and the main girl, if they decided they wanted to date each other, they could, or if they decided they want to date one of their matches, they could do that as well. Or they could decide they didn't want to and just be on their way and go home, and I think that happened a couple times. I'm also into this other one called Catfish, and to me it's really interesting about the people that are on there, because when you're on the internet and you're dating people and you're talking to them, you have this sense of anonymity. You can, put pictures on there, and a lot of them won't. Some of them will video message and such, and other ones, they make excuses why they can't do this or that. And these 2 guys, they come on there and, they get contacted by somebody saying that they, have strong feelings towards somebody. They want to know if this person is real or if they're fake or if they're who they say they are. And they try to, bring them together. And some of the time, the person is who they say they are. Good portion of the time, they're not. And some people you can see, automatically say, nope, this ain't going to work for me. Other ones where you don't think it'll work, eventually it does. And then you have the ones that are like, this is closure for me, now I can move on with my life, and I'm going to focus on this and that, and it's kind of a stepping stone, like if you're stuck in a position, and it helps you out of that. I think some of the stories are really good, and then other ones it's like, you really believe that? I mean, really? You believe that? It's too good to be true. You actually believe that? I never was one of these that wanted to be this reality show type deal. I wasn't the reality show junkie, but I've become one. You have Dancing with the Stars. For a few seasons, I watched American Idol. However, I do not watch it now, and it's being canceled after this next season. I guess they have one more season, and then it's going to be canceled. So by this time next year, it'll be canceled. I'm wondering how much longer Dancing with the Stars actually has. Because if they celebrated their 10 years, I'm thinking maybe another 5 if they're lucky, but I don't know. Because that being another 5 years, that's another 10 seasons. Because I think they do 2 seasons a year, if I'm right. Let's see. I watched this one show that I didn't hear a lot of hype on it. It was with NBC, and it came out last year, and I watched it, and I really got into it, and then it came back this year, and I got into it even more. It's called Night Shift, and it's kind of like a cross between, I want to say, like Grey's Anatomy and ER. I've noticed, a few of the actors that were on ER as, writers and directors or producers. I noticed Laura Innes, or Laura Innes, the one that played Weaver. She always walked with a crutch. She's done some episodes. Eric LaSalle, who played Peter Benton. Oh, excuse me. He's done at least one episode, and I was surprised the other night when I turned it on. I was a little behind on the show, and I didn't know that in one of the very first segments, Trace Atkins was on there. And the whole episode, I was, I was happy he was there and he was on in the beginning and then he was back in the end. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder if he's going to sing. I wonder if he's going to sing. That'd be so awesome. He did not sing. But the First Lady and I don't know what you call the Vice President's wife, if she's a second lady, but both of them made a brief appearance on there on a video, and it was kind of interesting. I hate this time of year when the shows that I watch, 23, 24, 20, 20 some episodes do their season finale, but at the same time I'm happy because that means Big Brother will be back and Under the Dome will be back, which I like both of those. And with those shows, they keep you watching, that it helps you forget about the shows that you've stopped watching because of the summer. And it's also a time for you to get out there and go do something instead of, curling up and watching TV. And, I'm planning on going fishing this summer, and I want to take maybe a couple of day trips here and there. I might go to North Carolina, I don't know yet. And just kind of enjoy the weather when it's nice, because when it gets really cold and it's snowing, I don't want to leave the house. I don't want to go anywhere because I don't want to have to deal with it. I don't want to have to navigate the snow because, for one, I don't have snowshoes, snow boots, or anything. I just have, I guess you'd call lower shoes, tennis shoes. I don't have high tops or anything like that, so nothing that really has a good grip. And I tend to weeble wobble sometimes when I walk, and it's just more of a chance for me to fall over, and I don't want to break a hip or some other bone that will make it hard to get around. I already have back issues and hip and knee issues. I don't need to add anything else to it. So those times of the year I kind of spend indoors reading, listening to music, watching TV, catching up on movies, and whatnot. So I'm just hoping that the summer stuff that comes out is good, and I don't have as many of the shows during the summer that I watch, and even if I did, they probably wind up being stacked up. I get behind because I just don't get in the mood to watch them. So, yep. I'm planning on, probably in the next few days, I'm going to check out Pitch Perfect 2. I saw the first one. Jamie and I watched it a few weeks back and really liked it. And I'm thinking that I'd like to see that one. We watched Monsters University the other night. I think it's supposed to be like a prequel to the Monsters, Inc. movies. And I laughed so hard. It was so funny. I know that it's an animated film and such, but sometimes those are better than some of the adult movies they have out now. I found this app, and I've been watching movies on it for free, and I noticed they have a lot of Hallmark movies on there that are fairly current, recent, so I'm looking forward to catching up on those. Last year I tried to sell some stuff on eBay, and I contacted the local post office, or United Postal Service, and I ordered a bunch of packing material. I got boxes, I got envelopes, I got labels, I got, you name it, I got it. If it was a priority mail, flat rate, box, bag, whatever. I had so many of the things that it was taking over my living room, and it was also taking over my closet, which I've gotten rid of most of it because, flat rate wasn't the cheapest to send. It costs a lot of money to send, and I sold stuff for a while but didn't realize that eBay takes a fee, and when you have to pay a fee every month, every time you post something, if it doesn't sell and you repost it, there's a percentage you have to pay them to put your stuff up. And there was one month that I think I had like only 1 or 2 items, and when the statement came out from eBay, it said I owed them $15. Well, when I looked at what I made that month, I was almost in the negative. So I decided that I didn't have enough stuff worth selling on there to do that. So I stopped doing that, and then I started planning a wedding, and then, this year I said I was going to start it back up, and I have sold a couple things, but I'm not really having much luck. I have a ring that I'm trying to sell that I had purchased as a wedding band, but when it arrived, I realized it was just way too thick and too big for my hand, and I found another one, but at the time, with planning a wedding and everything, I couldn't sell it, so I've tried to sell it again, and nobody seems to be interested in it, so I just don't know how much luck I'm going to have with it. I was thinking, hey, in order to make money, you have to spend money, so I would bid on a bunch of DVDs, like lots of DVDs, and I paid a good amount for those, and they would send me boxes of DVDs, and, I had some pretty good ones in there, but I was thinking that I could resurface them and sell them, and the luck that I had with it was nothing. So I took a couple, I took some to a local place that buys used DVDs and such, and I lost money on that deal. That was not even anything close, and I didn't take everything. And then I've had, DVDs around the apartment. I saved some of the stuff that I liked out of it for myself to add to my collection, because over the years when times have gotten tough, that was one of the first things that sold was DVDs. So I'm trying to build my collection back up. Well, I was on eBay searching for, a couple different movies that I was like, hey, I like this movie, but I haven't seen it in a while. I wonder if I could find a cheap copy of it. I don't care if it's previously viewed as long as it's playable and, it's not bootlegged and whatnot. So I've been kind of buying some of the older movies, I guess you'd say, from a few of the sellers online, and I have I think 5 movies coming in the mail and a season of I think it was a season of Lost, and nothing was over $4 for any of them, and the total of the purchases, because the person who I dealt with, where you bought 2, the third one you get half off, I didn't even pay $20 for it. So I'm looking forward to those coming, and what I think I might do is kind of watch the stuff as I'm ordering it, because I still have a whole bunch from the end of last year that I haven't seen yet, and maybe I'll do reviews on some of them if I think they might be worthy of it, and tell you about them and whatnot, because sometimes the new movies are good, but sometimes you want those old classics, and you want to hear about some of the old movies that you forget about. I ordered Sweet Home Alabama. Now, I remember that movie back in '03 or '03 or '04, I believe, when it first came out. And I used to own it, but I didn't, I had to sell it and everything. Well, now I look back and I'm like, the actors and actresses look so young then compared to, how Hollywood's made them look now. It doesn't take very long for a person, a star, to go from looking like they're almost a teenager to looking like they're 40. I've noticed that with me too. I can look at pictures and I look so much younger, and it might have been 5 years ago. I'm not 40 yet, but I'm closer to 40 than I am to 20. So eventually I'm going to get there. But yeah, I'm just kind of just shooting off the top of my head right now of what's on my mind, and excuse me, what is to come. I'm just kind of thinking about things that are relevant to you and relevant to me, and just kind of things that make me sad. I don't know why this affects me, but I was watching Dancing with the Stars this season, and a lot of the dances that this ex-soldier Noah did. I'm sorry, my eye is really bothering me. It would bring tears to my eyes because I would feel the emotions from it, and it affects me. Well, I'm one of those that, you know, I watch a sappy movie and I'll cry. Even a TV show, something that just strikes a chord or something, I'll cry, I'll tear up, whatever. It doesn't make me unsympathetic or unemotional, it just makes me human. And the people that can't do that means that for them to really be vulnerable and feel those emotions is really hard. And I feel bad for those people because they don't feel it the same way that we do. It's not saying that they don't feel sadness, because I'm sure they do, or happiness. It's just they don't feel it the same way that us that are more emotional or, whatever feels. So, alright, I think I'm going to close it for now because I can't deal with my eye much longer and I just need to go for now. So, I will be back later. Have a good one.